So I can go back, talk to myself in the past. And Kat, I'm here to explain a few things you need to know now, and I want you to listen. We only have a few moments, and there are significant implications. Start by telling me exactly what you planned to do when you walked in here. Go back, to see myself, my past self, before Natalie learned what she knows. Try to talk myself into meeting Natalie and getting her to prepare. Plan ahead. Set up a fail-safe system by making broadcast recordings to be released at specific times in the future. Alright, I was just checking. I'm in the right place, the right timeline. That's precisely what I had planned. Until I had this conversation. God, this is just creepy. You've already had this conversation, and you're saying I shouldn't go back to see my past self? Consider what's happening here, Kat. Now, in this bathroom. Many possibilities, but 3 obvious ones. First, you walk in and I'm not here. You proceed as you planned. Second, I'm here, we have this chat, but you ignore me. Third, you listen to me, and my timeline begins. Every option leads to a different future. What happens here in this moment leads to at least 3 possible timelines. And they all exist. Each time you interfere, physically, verbally, or any other way, in your past and Katya's future, whatever it is, you split the timeline. What was one possible path becomes 2 or more. When you took Lisa out of the picture for Katya, you created a new line in which Katya and her friends could move forward. But the old line didn't end. There's still a Katya who was captured by GCN and is currently being taken in for long-term imprisonment. And Natalia, who's already been killed for trying to escape. You don't change history, Kat. You create a new one. So because we're having this conversation, yes, the original timeline where I did not come back to talk to you is already split off. We don't know where it leads. This is your timeline now. Stick to it. You can always tell you're back. The light's the brightest, and there's a certain, almost a click in your mind that says, here I am. It's possible to see the others, to go there and find out where they lead, but don't try. Maybe I shouldn't have said that. But the key thing is, gather information. Use it to steer you from the now onward, and don't think about where the branches, the other lines that splinter off the trunk of your reality, lead to. It can drive you crazy, and you can't manage it all. Now, I need to go. I'll leave you to make the right decision, sister. Tess, I need your advice. What's wrong, Kat? What happened? A moral dilemma, my friend. And I trust your judgment. Far away. You know Philippa Foot, trolleyology? Of course. Required ethical training for all medical personnel. You have a trolley problem? Sort of, but a little different. Suppose you have 5 people you're pretty sure are going to die. You think you can save them, but you're not certain. If you try, you might save them. But you're almost sure another 5 people will die instead. What do you do? Is this general case, Kat? Or is it personal? Let's say, for the sake of discussion, general case. Then make it clearer. Give us the scenario. Alright, suppose you have 5 people in a cable car that's accelerating down, maybe out of control. Flip a switch, you think you can save them. But the switch releases another 5-person cable car, which will be in the same situation. Do you flip the switch? Where did the other 5 people come from? I thought we had just the one possibly out-of-control cable car. Until you flip the switch, Tess. They don't exist. Okay, Kat. Who's judging this? Who's the one making the call on whether they think the people will live or die? That's the key to the problem. What if I was making that judgment, Tess? I think some will live, but probably others will die. If you're making the call, Kat, I take the risk. Even if I'm one of those you lose. Because you know, Kat, I trust you with my life. Oh. Tess. I'm with Tess, Kat. If there's anyone I trust to make the right call, it's you. Oh, what if I really can't be sure? What if it's only my best guess that whatever I do, I'm helping those who are in trouble? You know the answer, girl. We're with you all the way. Both of you. Thanks. Thanks for the resounding support. Alex, what do you say?
Got nowhere to hide here, Kat. I've known you too long. All our lives are on the line here anyway, and we know it. You go, girl.
Then, Natalie, I need you to come with me. We're going on a little adventure. Alright, Natalie, we're going on a bit of a head-spinning journey, and I won't call on you unless I need you, but first, I need a bit of information so I can set up our trip. Let's start with the basics. How did you find out about all this incriminating information? The stuff that's landed you in this mess?
I may be a figurehead, Kat, but in order to be effective, I need instant access to the most current corporate news, including internal feeds. You don't know how many times I need to change my report mid-sentence, based on new data that scrolls across my heads-up display. Those glasses I always wear are only partly for image.
So, how did you come across this little gold mine of assassination-worthy info?
Live on air. Over the past couple of years, I've honed my skill of bypassing security blocks to get at the real data faster and more effectively, so I can always give our public the most current perspective. You know how reassuring it is to hear a company explain a reported glitch, or information leak, or accusation before it has a chance to really create a global alarm? I've always been good at massaging the words, reshaping the truth, providing a convincing and sincere explanation. It's how I got into the business in the first place. But it's by far the most effective if I can draw on the facts, and the more fresh the better.
You really found this stuff by hacking through a security wall while you were broadcasting? How did you ever stay focused on delivering your report?
Like I said, I've kind of mastered the art of smoothly moving from one set of truths to the next, and building the story as I go. They used to have a word for it. Improv. Create a narrative by stitching ideas and concepts together from real-time prompts, and make it all hang together. Of course, at the same time, I also have to build a report that makes the company look good. When I saw the first glimpse of this flash past, my automatic filters kicked in and blocked it from my immediate consciousness. No way I could let that stuff truly enter my mind. Once I was off air, that was when it really hit. And I did a little more sniffing.
Not just a pretty face then, are you? But someone must have noticed. Either seen you pause in your report and snooped in on what your feed was showing you, or just been monitoring all your data the whole time.
No. They gave me full freedom. No monitoring. The job I was doing, they had to, or I'd already told them I'd walk. Any company or network in the world would have hired me in an instant. No, they were not monitoring.
So how did they manage to catch on to you? And when?
I was tired. I was scared. I didn't know what to do, but I knew I couldn't continue doing my job, knowing what I did. I'm a good enough actress that they didn't get suspicious because of my behavior. In my flustered state, though, I think I left my terminal logged on and, well, I don't know for sure. Those things auto-log off every 5 minutes. But I think Howard Andrews caught a glimpse of one of the files.
So for turning against you and morally bankrupting himself, he earns the right to assume your role? Poetic justice, I guess.
I remembered about the terminal while I was still in the building, but when I got back to the office area, there were several corporate security all clustered around my room, and I slipped back out as quietly as I could. Lucky I created cloud backups of all the files I'd found and hid all the links. I've been tailed ever since that night, and kept off the air.
And how long exactly is that, Natalie? When did this all happen?
It's Wednesday morning. Sunday evening was when they found the data on my terminal. Sunday afternoon's live broadcast, the last one I did.
Alright, good enough. Almost 2.5 days. Time for Kat to see if she can earn what you're paying her, Natalie. Whatever that is. Let's go look up a few people. Alright, information gathered and we have a target time. I need to find an earlier version of myself, one that's linked either directly or indirectly to my own timeline, and see if I can drop a few hints. It's got to be subtle so that it causes the least rippling across the possible futures, but significant enough that it alters things just a little. Where did I come up with that analogy for Tess? This is not like flipping a switch, more like finding a thread in a thick rope and tweaking it just the right amount. But the more I think about this, what I've learned in my crash 12-hour course, the more obvious it is that no matter what I do, new futures will open up. If I step back to my own timeline, try to work it out from there, all that happens is I end up being in the timeline where I made that call, decided not to go back and try to fix things. And I have to live with that, just like Tess and Alex and Natalie and Liz. And yes, even Liz. It's just that I chose to move forward in that future. But another me, a less hesitant one, will still have gone back. And who knows how many new timelines she creates in doing so. God, it's enough to completely blow your mind. My future self is right. Pick a path, make the best decision you can, and stick with it. So, it's back to Sunday morning, not just hours this time, but days. Lines are splitting, diverging, fragmenting. Can't really be sure which I should try, but the brightest one, that's probably the one with the most influence. No way to know exactly when I am. Maybe slow down and... There, a date. Monday, 7 a.m. Not far enough yet. Alright, my office is a little different, but the display says Sunday, 8:30 a.m. Move forward slowly, no way my other self can avoid hitting the office. There. She's here. Now we see if I'm dooming us all.
Hello? Kat, can you hear me?
Hello?
You're not imagining this, and you're not going crazy. I'm here in your office, but can you see the light?
Yes. What is happening to me?
It's a long story, but don't panic and just relax. I'm going to come out of the light now, and I have someone with me that you might recognize.
Holy shit. You're really here. What is this? Some kind of teleport system? You look like me. In a sense, I am you. But from another time and place.
Kat, where are we?
Sorry, I know it's a bit disorienting. Let me introduce Nelina Chalkowski, GCN, the sweetheart of the knits, here in my office, more or less. Except, like I said, right, another time and place. So the real Nelina is still where she should be, for now. But we need your help to change that. So you are here, and I have no idea how. You look almost like you could be my sister. And you have with you a woman who could be a double for the most famous face on Earth. Whoever you are, I'm ready to hear what you have to say. Thank you, Katrina. Or, as you correctly deduced when you first communed with me, Kat. Likewise, Katrina. But I'm Katie, where I and my companion Natalie come from.
Kat, what's going on here? How many sisters do you have? And how did we even get here?
Natalie, we've just traveled back in time to Sunday morning. Not the exact same line of existence as we come from, but we can get back, I assure you. The key thing is, this existence is linked to all other parallel threads, including the one that's ours. What we do here can affect what happens there, but I hope in small ways. And Katrina's not my sister, Natalie. She's me. In this line of existence, she is Katie. And Katrina, you can help. You can help us change what's going to happen today, and for the future. Hopefully both here and where we belong as well. Ladies, are you with me? So, all those recurring dreams I've been having, like I'm someone else, scenes from the future that actually happened, they're because of me somehow, and I'm sorry. I don't know how I got this way, but I've been having those visions for months now too, and now I can do this.
So we can just change something here, so I never find out about the big secret and...
No, you're still you, Natalie. What you know, you know. You can't just rewrite yourself. But maybe we can do something a little less drastic. Maybe you did a little more in the way of protecting yourself when you got the news. Didn't just stash the information, but time out. You need to tell me what's happening, why you're here. Right now you're talking nonsense. And if it's future knowledge, then maybe I just don't want to know.
You're right, Katrina. I was just trying to help Natalie understand. So here's the basic plan. Nelina Chalkowski is going to be in a lot of trouble very soon. Probably sometime today. We know this will happen. But that's all the detail you should have. What we need you to do is get in touch with Nelina as soon as you can. Tell her you've always admired what she does, and you miss it when even a day goes by that you don't see her on the air. That maybe she should consider preparing
daily broadcasts in advance and having them released automatically, so her eager public can always be sure to hear her message, even when she has no scheduled announcements.
And if I'd heard that message on the day...
No need to elaborate, Natalie. I understand the power of suggestion. We are trying to prepare Nalina to more effectively handle the situation when it arises, and see how it works out for her. Not just for her, Katrina. For a lot of other people who are caught up in what's to come. I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. And bringing your Natalie along with you? Scaring her half to death by telling her the truth about what you've done by dropping in on me like this? Was that wise? Haven't you changed too much in your own future timeline now? With her knowing what she knows? Would you have believed what I told you if I hadn't brought her? Or would you have thought all those dreams, those visions had finally driven you over the edge? Even now, I'm not so sure they haven't. But I've been feeling that something big was coming my way for days now. And your timing is about perfect. If I've simply gone crazy, sending Nalina an innocent message can't harm anything.
Not sure how much difference it makes to you, Katrina, but I know Kat isn't crazy, although I wondered at first. And I also know that what she's suggesting has already had an effect. As soon as the words are out of her mouth, I remembered something. I remembered something I did that seemed to have slipped my mind.
Good enough, Natalie. Consider it done at this end. And Katie, do not be a stranger. Now that I know you're out there. Well, let's just say I feel a new energy and spirit I have not felt in a very, very long time. Please come and see me when you can. You can count on it. My sister self. Between us and with the help of a few other sisters out there, we can do amazing things. Now you have work to do. And Natalie here needs to come with me to see what we have wrought together. Watch your back, Katrina. So it's done. For better or worse, I have now set in motion at least one alternate future, and probably a whole series of them. What my sister Katrina does with the information will determine exactly what those new futures look like. But Natalie's reaction to what she heard, well, it's encouraging, I think. Still, the more I let these new ideas run around in my head, the more I realize that even if the average person does nothing other than make decisions in their daily lives, they must create multiple alternative futures. If the choice is between two clear options, then two futures. But how often is a decision really that clear-cut? How often does a choice affect just one person, one thing, or one event? Like my future self said, it boggles the mind. So many parallel paths, always diverging from the moment, and all we can do is the best we can to stay on the best of those paths. Our choices don't prevent other paths from continuing. All that happens is at that particular crossroads we weigh the possibilities and make our best guess as to which road is the one we most want to travel down. What I now know about what I can do, I can make those decisions with more information than most could ever hope to have. I can more clearly see what a choice will lead to, rather than just guessing at it. And I think I now know that I can go back to where a given decision was made and help influence that choice. How that affects the actual outcome, we're soon to find out. But it's already changed quite a few lives forever. And what does it feel like to wield such power? To all my eager listeners out there, I can tell you without hesitation that it is downright terrifying. So, on that entirely intimidating note, I think it's time I step back to where I belong and see what Natalie and I have wrought with our first little attempt at meddling with the past. Here we come, Tess. Natalie, are you alright?
Why shouldn't I be, Kat? We just traveled in time, didn't we? Not just a trance like you told us before. Where... No. When was your other sister, Katja?
You're going to have to keep this on the lowdown for the moment, Natalie. We still have Liz to contend with out there, and she's nothing if not relentless and unscrupulous when it comes to finding and exploiting information.
I notice you're not so concerned about Tess and Alex finding out what's really going on here.
Well, some you can trust with your life, and some you can't. I imagine you have your own roster of people you trust. And of course, those you can't.
I can tell you this. If there's one person I trust to give anything they have to help me, to look out for my best interest, perhaps even in spite of my own actions, it's you. So Liz will get nothing from me unless she resorts to methods I am not yet aware of that can extract information under extreme duress. Good enough?
You have a disarming charm, you know that, Natalie? Makes it easy to see how you snagged your role at GCN and became a household name. Or face, I suppose I should say.
So, now that we trust each other, Katya?
And persistent into the bargain. Alright, Katya. How I got into this whole bizarre travel stuff in the first place. From another parallel timeline very close to this one, and only a little ahead of us. Perhaps as much as a few hours. But depending on how we use this travel ability, we may even catch up to each other. I don't really know yet. We've only been doing this for less than 12 hours.
Then you've done a lot in that time. And you'll be pleased to know that the idea you implanted, the seed you sowed back with Katrina, I know it's taken root. I can feel it. I didn't simply stash the data on Sunday when I began this whole crazy journey.
Tess, are you serious? Really? It sounds like maybe you're right. Shall we step into the other room and see what we've done?
Damn, this is incredible.
Holy shit. How did this... Tess? Kat, Natalie, I see you've been busy. Listen to this.
No, there have been concerns about my status, and I can assure you that I'm well. But there's a problem at GCN that you should all be aware of, and it's my duty as their representative to tell you about it. Many of you have thought for some time that GCN is a bit too large, a bit too powerful to be real, too wealthy, too influential for its own good. Well, I'm here to tell you that you're right.